Karl Williams, Chase Sherman, heavyweight bout here. Karl Williams stepping in for Chris Barnett, who had to pull out. Unfortunately, the Beast Boy will not be fighting at UFC 287. Chase Sherman was a minus 200 favorite, and he gets a tough draw here against Karl Williams, an avid wrestler. Chase Sherman doesn't fare too well with the wrestling. It's going to be a big underdog in this one. Karl Williams, short notice, just fought about a month ago at UFC Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotels. Got a win there against Lucas Dresky. I'm going to take him in this one too. I just don't see, even though it's short notice, it's like Chase Sherman has never fared well with wrestlers. Even to the likes of like Jake Collier. He got submitted by Jake Collier in 2022, taken out by Alexander Romanov. And just overall in the UFC, we talked about it in the Chris Barnett preview. It just hasn't had a lot of success. He's kind of just taking fights and filling spots. He's 4-10 in the UFC. I don't see him getting a win here against Karl Williams. I guess maybe you could say the experience is on his side. Karl Williams is 33, only 9 professional fights. This will be his second fight in the UFC, but he's looked good in his past couple fights with the wrestling. He looked really explosive with his takedowns against Dresky, throwing them all over the place, all over the octagon, and actually had some pretty good spots on the feet. Looked really aggressive in that one. So I'm going to take him. I just don't see any way that Chase Sherman wins this fight unless Karl Williams is just like content to stand and strike with him and make it a close fight. I think Karl Williams should be able to get takedowns at will, and he'll probably be able to hold him down and maybe get a finish, probably a ground and pound finish, I would think. Maybe round 1 or 2. That's my official prediction there. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. This is best case scenario for Karl Williams. He's coming off of a fight against Bretsky. Wasn't that long ago, but he doesn't have to cut down to 205 here like he has in the past. This is at heavyweight. The weight cut's not going to be an issue. Coming off of a fight, you're going to somewhat be fresh. And the explosiveness, I think, is what Chase Sherman is going to struggle with. Karl Williams averaging over 5.5 takedowns per fight. And Chase Sherman, like you alluded to, he struggles with those guys that get the takedowns. Romanov is a big, powerful guy, but took Chase Sherman down 3 times in the first round and ended up getting the finish. And, if Sherman can't stand and box with guys, being a heavyweight that's, kind of slimmer, kind of trimmer, he's not real heavy for a heavyweight. Those guys with that explosive wrestling, man, just get him to the ground. And when he's down there, it's tough for him to get up off his back. And especially a guy like Karl Williams, who's got the wrestling experience. He's got strength. What he did on the Contender Series against a guy who was, a highly touted Penn State wrestler was impressive. So if he gets Chase Sherman on the ground, man, I just don't see it being a fun night for Sherman. And I kind of agree with you. I kind of like that KO TKO prop for him. Maybe just getting into mount, raining down shots where Sherman can't do anything. But I would like to look at the odds for him to win when they come out for like a double chance by decision or KO. I'm sure you'd get a little bit better price than him on the money line right now. But it's crazy that Sherman was maybe for the first time in his career, a big favorite in the UFC. Yeah. And then they said, hold up a minute. We're going to give you this nasty wrestler who's, we're trying to build up and, have fun with him. We'll see what happens. But I imagine he gets put on his ass here in the first round, and we'll see if he survives it.
Yeah, brutal draw. Because, he was put in like a fun fight with Chris Barnett. He was a favorite. He was probably likely going to be a standing affair. Now he's just getting thrown to a guy that wants to take you to the ground all the time, and he's going to push it. He's explosive at it. Really tough draw for Chase Sherman, but props to him for taking the fight. Obviously, he didn't have to take it, but he's taking it anyway, and not leaving us stranded without a heavyweight fight in this card. So good fight there, and we'll see how it goes.